Set in the Old East, the film begins with Angel, the most beautiful and desired young woman in the town who has spent much of her life in a D-chest brothel. The owner of the place only accepts the highest bidders to be with Angel, who has no say. To choose her destiny, the young woman has done the delicious thing so many times that she couldn't count them. She only remembers the times when she was a child completely free to play as much as she wanted, and without having to sell her dignity daily to lustful men. But her mother, always. He was in charge of teaching her the best he could. He wanted his daughter to be an intelligent woman, but above all, she longed for a better life than what she could give her. Her father, however, was a strict and cruel man who had another family. May was just one of his lovers, and having a daughter with her was never in his plans. When the little girl was only 6 years old, her father abandoned them both to their fate. And now that he is a teenager, his daily life takes place within 4 walls and a door through which he enters. A stinking and lustful man every half. Not far from there, we meet Michael, a humble sheep shepherd who lives taking care of his animals and growing his own food. He travels to the town once a year, where he never forgets to stop by the church and thank the Lord for each fruit. That harvests and allows him to live one more day in his lands away from all the evil that abounds in the world. One morning, Michael's destiny crosses paths with Angel, with whom he immediately falls in love and must get in line if he even wants to cross some words with her. While the young man is looking for a way to enter the brothel, we see a flashback of Angel's mother who had to succumb to the men's desires to get the money necessary to keep them alive, which is why the protagonist had to watch as dozens of men entered the brothel. His mother's room every day, everything to put some food on the table. Not long after, his mother succumbed to a great illness and died, leaving Angel alone in this cruel world in which he must now survive. We return to the present day, where Michael has paid to meet Angel, the woman who has been on his mind all day and to whom he proposes marriage. Angel, who is used to hearing these types of proposals every day, does not take him seriously and throws him out of his room before he can. His bodyguard comes in and beats him to death the following days. Michael returns and pays double the fee just to talk for a few minutes with Angel, who considers him a fool for spending his money without getting pleasure. On the 5th day, Michael makes one last attempt to get his money. He has already exhausted himself, and unfortunately, Angel rejects him again. But although he failed in his proposal, Angel has been left with the doubt of whether this young man is really different from all men. And if he really feels everything he says, we return to a flashback where we see how one of her mother's clients took her to the city and sold her to Duke, the owner of the brothels, for just a few coins when she was only 8 years old. Duke, who is an extremely cruel man, forces Angel to watch as his assistant, takes the life of the man who tried. Sell her all this as a sign of what would happen if she disobeys him. Now that Angel belongs to him, the man will take care of her until she is old enough to serve in one of his brothels. 10 years pass quickly, and during a big party in one of the brothels, Angel, who is already a teenager, ready for his first service, sees his father in the crowd who is stunned by his beauty, and ends up paying a lot of money to be the first after everything is over. Angel reveals his identity and his father. Completely destroyed, he decides to take his own life when he realizes the enormous sin he has committed by being intimate with his daughter that same night. Angel fled from Duke's house and got on the first boat that left the docks. Sometime later, he ended up in that cowboy town doing exactly what she was trained to do: satisfy men and manipulate for their money. We return to the present time where Angel goes with Dochus to ask for her gold. All the money she has earned with her services and which she promised to give him when she decided to leave, but it's too late for that. Angel has become the goose that lays the golden eggs, and Dochus has no plans to let her leave just like that. Because of this, her status goes from being a princess of the brothel to just another one of the bunch, and all his money has vanished since Dochus has lived a life of luxury with him all these years. Michael, who returns a few days later, finds Angel brutally beaten because the clients no longer want her. So the young man takes the opportunity to give her all his money. Money a dozen. Change of his freedom while Michael takes Angel to his farm. We see Duke pass by in his carriage heading towards the town. Everything indicates that he has come looking for Angel, who luckily is moving away from there a few days later. Angel is still not able to leave. The bed is too weak to stand up, and Michael takes care of her every day. With a lot of love, when Angel regains enough strength to stand up, steals some food, and flees Michael's farm, who, realizing this, rushes to look for her. Fortunately, he manages to reach her. However, she believes that he has come to force her to return, but in reality, he just wants to give her some water and tell her to come back whenever she wants. He also warns her that it is 30 km to the town that night. The protagonist returns to the house where Michael finds her. She waits with her wounds ready and treats her wounds with the same affection as before, something that makes her feel comfortable since no one had ever done something similar for her without wanting something more in return. So the days go by, and Angel has begun to feel more and more comfortable on the farm, where Michael shows her the virtues of a quiet life without pressuring her at all for his affection. Angel, who is only promised to stay until he pays his debt, ends up having a lot of fun with Michael and, for the first time in years, feels something resembling freedom. To decide about her life, during the nights, she makes intimacy proposals to Michael, but he doesn't just want sex. What he really craves is something more meaningful and deep, something that Angel is not yet ready for. This is not a problem for Michael, because he has all the time in the world to make her fall in love and show her the difference between what he did with his clients and what he does with someone you love one morning. While Michael is working in the barn, his brother-in-law Paul returns to the farm after a long time wasted looking for gold. When Paul sees Angel, he is stunned and furious to see her wearing his late wife's clothes that Michael gave him without his permission. He barely has a free moment with Angel and tells him that he doesn't belong to that place and that she is only staining the honor of the family. She is a prostitute, and seeing her in his late wife's clothes makes him sick to his stomach. Then he goes to Michael and reveals everything he knows about Angel's past. However, before him, he knows all that, and he doesn't care. He loves her for who she is now and not for who she was. The next morning, Michael offers his cart to Paul so he can go to town and get his life in order. He also has to go to church to confess. It is clear that the mourning for his wife is consuming him, and he needs help. God, meanwhile, Michael goes to Angel to show him his affection and make it clear to him that his past is no longer important. What matters is his future and the family they will form together. This is when we see a flashback where Angel is very scared while a doctor hired by Duke ruins her womb so that she does not have the problems of conceiving children in her profession. Unable to confess this secret to Michael, Angel decides to abandon him and gets up very early to go with Paul back to town. On the way, Paul takes advantage of the opportunity and tells Angel that he never had enough money to pay for her company, and now that he has her right next to him, he doesn't want to waste the opportunity. Seeing how drunk Angel is, she knows that he could abuse her if she refused. So he decides to offer him what he wants, voluntarily. At the end of the moment, they both continue with the trip. And just before reaching the town, Paul leaves the side of the road before anyone sees them together in the town. Angel finds the brothel in ashes and one of his friends. Clients informs him that it suddenly caught fire with all the girls inside, and the only one who survived was Docius, who fled the town. He also informs him that he is opening a new brothel and would love to have her maid as part of the entertainment after agreeing on the percentage. Angel closes. She deals with her new boss in the usual way and returns to the life of humiliation to which she is accustomed. When Paul returns to the farm to return Michael's wagon, he finds him furious with him for having returned Angel to the town without. However, he confesses to her that he had nothing to do with it. It was she who abandoned him in disbelief. The first thing he does is go in search of her. When he finds her, Angel shows regret for having run away, so she wants to go with him, but her new boss is not willing to let her go so easily after beating up everyone who interfered. Michael leaves the town with Angel, and they return once again to his farm. On the way, Angel begs him to just leave her. She is too damaged to be his wife, to which Michael tells her a little about his terrible childhood, concluding that we are all damaged in some way by this.